Here's more wrestling news for March 8th, 2022. And your headlines for this afternoon include CM Punk reveals AEW Revolution match was a love letter to WWE Hall of Famer, Ricky Stark's situation after scary bump at AEW Revolution, Orange Cassidy injured during AEW Face of the Revolution ladder match, AJ Styles suffered neck injury on WWE Raw last week, Ricochet was nearly blind in one eye during WWE Intercontinental title match, Tony Khan promises he won't overhaul ROH like WWE did with NXT, Vince McMahon still planned to be heavily involved in WrestleMania match, another rumored name for the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2022, Randy Orton reveals when he intends to retire from pro wrestling, and more. We're kicking off today with AEW Revolution, which saw a war between CM Punk and MJF, who brought back one of wrestling's oldest stipulations, the dog collar match, to settle their score. The first ever dog collar match took place back at NWA Starrcade 1983, where Roddy Piper defeated Greg Valentine, and that match was on Punk's mind heading into Revolution. Speaking on the post-show scrum, Punk called his moments with MJF a love letter to Roddy Piper, and said it just made sense to use the dog collar match to tell her story. Punk went on to say that despite their differences, he and MJF both love Roddy Piper, but when asked if any more dog collar matches are left in his career, the former WWE champion admitted he'd rather not shed as much blood again, calling the bout "stupid dangerous." Punk's win on Sunday came thanks to an assist by Wardlow, who turned on MJF, but after all that Punk went through in his dog collar match, the Chicago-made wrestler earned his win with or without Wardlow's help. Last Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view saw plenty of high-octane action, including a scary spot featuring Ricky Starks. During the Face of the Revolution ladder match, Starks was powerbombed from the top of a ladder by Wardlow and landed on his neck, leaving fans to fear about his condition. Thankfully, an update from Tony Khan on the post-Revolution media scrum has revealed that Starks is okay, and we're glad that the FTW champion won't need any surgery after this very dangerous-looking spot. Orange Cassidy wasn't so lucky, as he too competed in the Face of the Revolution ladder match and did get hurt during the show. It's unclear when exactly Cassidy's injury occurred, but he's dealing with a shoulder injury, which Khan called the only serious injury of the night. Right now, there's no word on just how long he'll be out of action or if he'll require surgery, but we're hoping for the best for Freshly Squeezed at this time. Back to WWE, and it was last week that Edge and AJ Styles confirmed they'd face off at WrestleMania in a dream match fans thought they'd never see. The two were in different companies for much of their careers, and when Styles came to WWE in 2016, it was 5 years after Edge had retired due to neck injuries. On last week's Raw, Edge turned heel on the Phenomenal One with a series of concertos to his skull, and now Styles is feeling the effects of this attack. In a statement given by WWE, it was reported that Styles is suffering a severe neck contusion, and AJ himself would retweet a tweet from WWE with this diagnosis. This storyline injury isn't expected to keep Styles from WrestleMania, but it was enough to keep him away from last night's Raw. But the former WWE champion will have revenge on his mind when he's able to get back in the ring. SmackDown's Ricochet is having a much better time than AJ right now after capturing his first Intercontinental Championship on last Friday's show. This win comes after reports that Vince McMahon wanted to give him a huge push, seeing him as the second top Blue Brand babyface, only behind Drew McIntyre. After the match, the one and only made a confession on Twitter when he revealed that during the title match, he lost the contact lens in his right eye and wrestled practically blind in one eye for 3/4 of the match. As a high flyer who puts his own body at risk even with perfect vision, it's incredible that Ricochet was able to finish the match and win the title lacking vision in one of his eyes. WWE has yet to decide on what WrestleMania 38 plans they have for Ricochet, but should he compete at WWE's two-night event next month, here's hoping that his contact lenses remain where they're supposed to be. Last week, Tony Khan announced that he has purchased Ring of Honor in one of the biggest deals in modern pro wrestling history. It's been reported that ROH will serve as a developmental system for AEW, and that stars from the All Elite company will be used at ROH events. This all sounds similar to NXT's relationship with the main roster, but when speaking on the Revolution media scrum, Khan made it clear that Ring of Honor won't change too much. ROH has an amazing history and I do plan to respect it. I do want to keep it alive. That's one of the reasons Sinclair were excited to work with me. Joe Koff and others told me that respecting legacy was important to them. For continuity's sake, I don't want to change much about ROH. Khan went on to question the journalists about NXT's transformation into NXT 2.0, and when everyone said the original show was better, he called it proof as to why changing ROH wouldn't work. Khan has kept pretty tight-lipped about the future of ROH, and it remains to be seen what he does next, but the AEW president isn't planning too many overhauls to his latest purchase. Back to WWE, and it was reported recently that Vince McMahon would be competing in next month's two-night event, reportedly to face Pat McAfee. Given the age of the 76-year-old chairman, few people were surprised when it was announced that Austin Theory will face McAfee at WrestleMania instead, but that doesn't mean the chairman of the board won't be getting involved. On the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer noted that the plan is for McMahon to be heavily involved with the McAfee Theory program, adding that McMahon is the one who will draw fans to the match. Meltzer speculated on whether McMahon will merely be in Theory's corner or whether it'll be a handicap match with Theory and the chairman against the SmackDown commentator. Whatever WWE has planned, it'll involve the chairman, and while McMahon won't face off with McAfee one-on-one, expect fists to fly from the billionaire owner of all WWE. Hall of Fame news now, as it's been announced that The Undertaker and Big Van Vader will be inducted this year, but we may already know which two stars will be the next to join them. According to Brad Shepard, WWE has plans to announce the Steiner brothers next after a legendary career as a tag team in and out of WWE. Rick and Scott first came to prominence as a tag team with WCW in the 1980s before joining the WWF, where they'd win the WWF World Tag Team titles twice. Whilst Rick may be an easy option for WWE, with his son Bron Breakker being the NXT champion, Scott may be much more difficult to convince to come back. Since leaving WWE, Big Papa Pump has consistently berated WWE and their product, and continues to have an issue with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, but if rumors are to be believed, the duo will soon become Hall of Famers. And we're ending today with Randy Orton, who made his main roster debut at WWE 20 years ago this year, and the Legend Killer has had a truly legendary run. A multi-time world champion who regained the Raw Tag Team titles with Riddle last night, Orton has truly done it all as part of WWE, but at 41, knows his career can't last forever. When the Adam's Apple YouTube channel spoke to Orton at an airport, Orton spoke about his career and said he's got another decade or so left in him before he hangs up his boots for good. Already a 14-time world champion, another 10 years of the Viper could see him be the one to surpass John Cena and Ric Flair for the most title reigns. It was only last week that Orton suffered a shoulder injury, leaving fans worried about his condition this close to WrestleMania, but as long as he stays healthy, the Viper will have plenty more WrestleManias to come. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.